I got a proposition for you guys. Take a seat, lock in with the teller right now. Listen to these 3 targets that I want to throw your guys' way. Lock them in and make some money on them. All right, there's 3 fights I want to talk about in regards to some prop bets for UFC Vegas 94. They're all going to be on the main card. Okay, so we'll jump right in to the first fight that I want to talk about here in just 1 second. If you guys can, please like this video. Putting in a lot of work here behind the scenes. If you guys can, just like the video real quick. Subscribe to the channel. If you guys are tuning into the teller here and there and you're not subscribed already, why not just subscribe? It helps me a lot, and it will help me improve the product that I give to you guys. Also note, we are going live for the main card for UFC Vegas 94. So if you guys tune in with me for the Fight Companion here on YouTube, you guys will see if these prop bets cash in. All right, guys. So we'll talk about that as that Fight Companion is going. And also remember, Mike Perry versus Jake Paul will intertwine with the Fight Companion, or we'll cruise from the UFC fights right into Paul versus Perry. So if you guys want to watch that with me as well, I really hope to see you guys on the live this upcoming Saturday, and I should be able to bring guests on this upcoming Saturday. As I told you guys, I'm working on a lot of things behind the scenes, and the products and get better and better and better. So please, guys, like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you're tuning in here to the show once in a while, even if you're not a frequent or a consistent every week to week listener, even if you come in here and there, if you could just hit subscribe for me, man, it means a lot to me, and it will help me refine and continue to improve the product here. Okay, guys. Now, if you want my official plays for this card, don't forget, you guys can also reach out to me for my official plays, the plays that I'm targeting for this card. These prop bets are not on my official ticket, but I still do like these a lot. Okay, guys, and we are powered by BETUS. Make a deposit through the link in the description of this video, and you will get a 125% match on your first 3 deposits. And the teller will also give you guys a gift. All right, so thank you so much for that.
The teller.
We head over to the flyweight division, where the number 14th ranked fighter Cody Durden will be taking on Bruno Silva. Bruno Silva, a fighter I've been buzzing about for a while now. Unfortunately, he hasn't been the most active, so you're not going to see a rank next to his name, regardless if he's on a 3-fight winning streak, with all of them coming by way of finish. But this is a fighter that I do believe has some serious potential, but the time has to be now. He's 34 years old. He has to make a run in this division in the next 2 years. This is a fighter that is shoulder to shoulder with Henry Cejudo, and that's been the case for some time. Before he started training over at Team Fight Ready with Henry Cejudo and them, I know he was training over at American Top Team. I believe he was even brushing shoulders with Cody Durden here and there. Now, Bruno Silva, I really believe this fighter is a fight finisher. When you look at his numbers, we don't have the method of victory on 6 of them. But in the UFC, in his 3 victories, he has finished all 3 of those. 2 knockouts, 1 submission. Has looked really good in his last 3 fights, starting off with that victory that he had over JP Buys. And I know everyone's going in there and finishing JP Buys, but followed that victory up with 2 very impressive performances as well, even subbing Tyson Nam in his last fight. I do believe Bruno Silva is a fight finisher. When you take a look at him on tape in the UFC, this is a fighter that is very aggressive. He could crack, and he has solid sub skills, as we saw in that last fight, right? He hurt Tyson Nam on the feet. I had no problem following him down to the mat and finding that finish. I think he had a rear naked choke in that victory there, if I remember correctly. Cody Durden is a fighter that is very vulnerable to being subbed when he loses fights. Okay, he's not a bad grappler. He's more of an offensive wrestler. But when it comes down to his game down in the mat, he is vulnerable to being subbed. And I think that Bruno Silva is potentially live to catch a sub in this fight, especially if he hurts Durden first, goes down to the mat. Maybe he finds an opportunity to sink in a finish there. So we're going to get to the play here in a second, but just take note that Bruno Silva is live to get a knockout, to get a sub in this fight. Now, I know Cody hasn't been having as much success with the finish in the UFC, but just note that he has a track record on the regional scene of being able to find those finishes. He is somewhat of a dangerous fighter, especially when you take into account the aggression that he brings in his fights. But if we do see a finish in this fight, I want to just state that I think it will be more on the Bruno Silva side, and I expect it to be more of a submission finish, okay, which is going to push me to the play that I'm looking at here, which is going to be the under 2.5. I'm giving you guys a big juicy plus 180 play right off the rip. Under 2.5 rounds on this fight. Like I said, I think the finish would most likely come by way of Bruno Silva. Most likely a sub, but wouldn't be surprised if he hurts him at range as well. We've seen Duran hurt there, and Duran has had his moments in the cage offensively with his striking too. Even though he hasn't found those consistent finishes, he has decent boxing, and he will look to land some big shots too. And we've seen Bruno Silva finished also, right? You take a look at his 5 losses. He was knocked out once and subbed once, and when you look at the level of competition, I know it was earlier on in his career, but the level of competition wasn't the best. So, I mean, he's not out of the realm of being finished either. Okay, so I like the under there with that nice plus sign next to it for that fight. So we'll just jump up the card one fight over to the lightweight division where we have Kurt Halah taking on Kenan Keski. I know somebody gave me a hard time in my full prediction video on the fact that I was teasing a little bit about how Keski has a Polish last name, and he said how uneducated I was, that I didn't know there was a bunch of people that migrated from Poland to Brazil back in the day. And, I guess he didn't really understand. I was kind of joking, but I will admit, I didn't know there was that many Polish people that headed down to Brazil, but I am very familiar with the fact that a lot of Europeans went down there. A lot of Greeks went down there. I know there's some pretty big Greek communities, a lot of Italians. And I mean, I'm not shocked that there's, some Polish that migrated there back in the day, but Keski doesn't really look too Polish to me. Maybe, I don't know, he could have a little bit of Polish blood in him though. Maybe I'm wrong there. And that probably is the case when you take a look at his last name, but I'm sorry I ruffled your feathers there. And Kenan Keski is a fun fighter to watch, a very aggressive fighter. He's coming off a devastating knockout loss. If you guys remember, he just got touched, just grazed on the side of the temple there by Elvis Brenner, and he was put out. He found his own finish against Dylan Mantello on Dana White's Contender Series. He found that sub very quickly. And Kenan Keski is a fighter that's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. He has nasty jit skills, and he's also a very aggressive striker, and I feel he moves well there, and he looks to land damage on the feet. Kurt Halah, on the other hand, he's an opportunist when it comes to finding the sub. He's a nasty BJJ player himself, and he's a fighter that really pushes the pace in the feet too, and looks to club you up and try to TKO you and get you out of there. So I think that this is also a fight where we could see an under. I think there's a couple different scenarios that could play out where we could see a finish here. Kurt Halah has been very durable throughout the years, but he is 37 years old, and Kenan Keski is a powerful striker. Maybe he could land a shot there. Keski has those jit skills as well. If he could hurt him, follow him down to the mat or something like that. But there's also a major question mark in regards to Kenan Keski's chin. The way he was just knocked out, you have to have question marks in regards to his durability, and I wouldn't be shocked if Halah can touch him and put him out, or hurt him and find a sub in this fight. I think this is going to be a very high energy fight, and I'm looking at some unders in regards to this fight right here. Right now, if you head over to BETUS, if you want to push it a little bit, the under 1.5 is at plus 170. Another fat plus line there. Again, we're giving you guys some value type of plays, some dog type of plays here, that plus action for those of you guys that like that type of stuff. Now, if you want to play it a little safer, maybe you're looking at the under 2.5 rounds. That's probably around even odds, or you're looking at the fight to not complete the distance, which, it's a little bit of a safer play, but I have a feeling this is going to be one of those types of fights. I'm telling you guys, Halah's getting up there in age. Keski's not the type of fighter that's going to look to just hold him down. And some of the more boring fights that we've seen from Halah, it's when the opposition is looking just to hold him down. Okay. If he finds a willing partner, it's going to be a good fight. Okay. And that's what happened in the Trey Ogden fight. Who's also fighting on this fight card. He was just kind of controlled there. But before that, the Austin Hubbard fight, the Jason Knight fight, the Lee Hammond fight. I mean, we're seeing all these finishes here. This is what he goes out there and looks to do. Okay. And he's been subbed and knocked out as well back in the day, right, by Shane Burgos and Jaime Barcelos. He's not completely immune to being finished himself, especially when you take into consideration he's 37 years old. Okay. So that's a play I like there.
Michael Vick here at BetUS.com. Get it all. Huge bonuses, great odds, a race book, live in-game betting, and a casino. BetUS, my online sports book and casino.
Then that takes us up to the main event, the stylistic clash between a fellow countrywoman, Amanda Lemos, and Virna Jandiroba. This is a top 5 matchup here in the division, right? In the strawweight division, 2 top 5 ranked fighters. I'm intrigued to see how this is going to play out. I think it's very likely that we see Virna Jandiroba find the submission victory. That's how I see this fight playing out. And to be clear, I think that Jandiroba gets some kind of choke, a rear naked choke, or some type of front choke, something like that. I think that she's very live to find that sub. Amanda Lemos, if she could avoid going down to the mat, if she can create space, her striking will be much better than Virna's. And Amanda Lemos is a dangerous striker. Also, 5 knockout victories out of her 14 wins there. And again, fighting out of coming out of Brazil, another fighter that has some undocumented method of victories. But in the UFC, this is a girl that is shown to have well above average power in her hands. And Virna Jandiroba is a little bit of a fish out of water on the feet. So there's 2 different ways we could see a finish in this fight. And I think you guys know where I'm going with this. But we're going to look at another plus sign here. Virna Jandiroba and Amanda Lemos to go under 2.5 rounds is at plus 145 on BetUS. It opened up at plus 170, so you wanted to be on that a little bit earlier, but I see why that type of action is coming in on that play. If you want to play it a little bit safer, also you can do an under 3.5, under 4.5, something like that, and get, that won't pay out as good, but a little bit safer. I think we're going to see a finish in this fight. I have a hard time picturing either fighter going to the final bell, because I just think that Lemos won't be able to make it 25 minutes, and I think eventually she will get dragged down to the mat. Or again, I don't see Jandiroba going 25 minutes if his fight's taking place on the feet. So it's not a guarantee, but I think there's some good value on that. And I know a lot of people, or there's people that think out there, oh, a women's fight, you're never going to see a finish. But when you have a stylistic clash like this, does increase the chances that we see something like that. All right, guys. So those are the 3 prop plays I wanted to run by your guys' way. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel. Again, if you want to work with me for my official plays, don't hesitate to reach out to me. And I want to see you guys in the Fight Companion. We're going to be doing it up this upcoming Saturday. Like I said, we'll cruise into that Paul Perry fight. We'll have this stylistic clash in the main event. It's going to be a lot of fun. And go catch me on all my social media, man. I'm really putting in a lot of work behind the scenes. I cannot wait to finally make it to the top. And I know that you guys have been supporting me from the very beginning. So I know that I have a lot of love for you guys. I appreciate you. Signing out. Teller.
The teller.